What's up, transhumanists of YouTube? So this topic is about indoctrinating kids into certain ideologies like gender fluidity and transhumanism, or basically like indoctrinating kids to the idea that if they're boys, they might be girls, and if they're girls, they might be boys, right? These are my views on why this agenda is being pushed forward the way it's being pushed forward, and pushed forward so hard through the media, right? So I'm gonna touch on a few subjects that are all interlinked together, and one of these is PTSD. So our government, man, it took them fucking forever to acknowledge that PTSD was a real disorder. And the reason why they didn't want to accept that PTSD was a real disorder is because they would have to take care of these combat veterans that came back all fucked up, right? Ever since World War I and II, they had a term. It was called like shell-shocked. And then they had other terms for it, but PTSD is it, man. And it took fucking forever for them to finally acknowledge that people come back fucked up when they're put in horrible conditions like war. They used to believe that these people were weak in the head. They're just weak inside, but these people weren't weak by any stretch of the imagination. They went out there on a daily basis to kill people, and while people tried to kill them. And if you do that long enough, you're gonna get fucked up too. You can be a really mentally tough individual, right? Like, imagine having this conversation with me and pop, there goes your best friend's head. His brain is in your mouth and fucking his blood is in your face, all kinds of shit, and now they're shooting and you gotta shoot back. You don't think that would traumatize you if it happened that fast? Because that's how fast fucking shit happens. That's how fast shit happens, You're shooting the shit 1 second and pop, there goes your friend's head, and you're getting shot up too. Who the fuck knows, right? PTSD. Took them forever to acknowledge this shit. But they finally did, and they had to, because these combat veterans, man, they're giving life, limb, and their souls pretty much just to fucking for us to live the way we live. That being said, why is it that a known disorder like gender dysmorphia, or I'm stuttering today, forgive me, gender dysmorphia, I believe, this known disease, why are they pushing it so strongly, and they're not admitting the fact that this is a known mental disorder with lots of studies behind it, proving so many different aspects of this, right? Now, me personally, I believe that there's a handful of people out there that really are born confused a little bit, and I think there's validity to their confusion. I think just like how people are born colorblind or something, I think there are a handful of people out there born a certain way, and as they grow up, it becomes more evident to them that they are, like, if they were boys, that they're really girls, or if they're girls, they're really boys, right? But I also believe that human beings, man, we're very adaptive creatures. We can adapt to almost any fucked up situation. And the younger someone is, the quicker they adapt. Like, a kid will adapt to a certain surrounding, a certain environment way faster than someone in their 30s, 40s, or 50s. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of things become like hardwired in a sense. Now, I have a theory why it's being pushed forwards the way it is and so hard. And the reason why is population collapse. So, population has been the world's number one problem for a really long time. Like, during the time I was going to school, they were always telling us about the baby boomers and how our generation didn't have enough kids to sustain the baby boomers going into retirement, and that we might not even have certain health care when we retire. So when it comes to human population, man, like, if the population as a whole has too few kids or too many kids, they both create certain problems. And if you're up top and your job is to sustain the way of life, to sustain the economy, to sustain national security and all this stuff, right? It would be in your interest to find out if you can actually have boys turn into females, of which they can then give birth. That's the key component to this. That's where this is going. It's about men having kids, being able to give birth. This would be a last resort solution to population collapse. If it's like we're in dire need of kids and there just isn't enough women to have these kids, well, we would need to have like transsexual people that can take the burden of having kids as well. This might sound a little far-fetched, but it's not when you look at it from this burden is on your shoulders. It's your job to sustain our way of life no matter what. It's you're the person that decides to send people to war. You're the person that decides that this is a topic worth sacrificing so many of your citizens for. If it's about your national security, right? Sir, you need to, like the saying says, you need to break a few eggs to make an omelet. And if that burden's on your shoulders, you're gonna make decisions out of necessity sometimes. Now, since human experimentation has kind of been illegal since World War II, we had to find other loopholes and means of conducting a lot of these experiments. And what more than to say, you know what, these are people's rights. They have a right to, if they think they're a girl, that they're a girl. Who are you to say otherwise and whatnot, right? It's about their rights, their constitutional rights to pursue their happiness wherever it may take them, regardless of the data showing that most of these people suffer from a mental disorder or few disorders. I'm not saying every single one of them, but the large majority, I think, got more fucked up than they were just born a certain way, And I think that's what it's really about. It's strictly about finding out, can men bear children? Let's find out. That's what it's about. Let's find out. Because if it came to a dire situation where that was a necessity, you would not want to start experimentation and trials late in the game. You'd want to know the answers, and then in worst case scenario, be able to implement this, if need be, for the species to survive. So that's my opinion on this, man. And it's not to hurt anybody's feelings. It's not to put anybody down. It's not to, if your feelings are hurt, well, I don't give a fuck. Your feelings are hurt, because that's not my intention. But if you understood me, you understood me. I'd love to hear your thoughts about this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna end that at that note. You guys have a wonderful day.